Hello. Hi folks, Harry here, and today I'm going to be giving you my list of my top 10 favourite Stephen King characters. So I've already done a video in the past where I told you my favourite Stephen King villains. So this list that I've got right here, which I'm going to blur out during editing so you don't get spoiled for the video, does not have any kind of antagonist. All of these characters are either protagonists or supporting characters. So as much as I would like to mention Annie Wilkes or Randall Flagg or any of those amazing villains, they're not going to be in this video. Let's get started. I also should mention that this list is in no particular order because I can't rank them. One of my all-time favourite Stephen King characters is Red from Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. So Red is a prisoner in Shawshank prison, and he is known as the one man in the prison who can smuggle anything in. This novella is told from Red's perspective, and yes, even though he's a criminal, you can't help but love him. He's very lovable, and my god, he's a fantastic storyteller. It also helps that the movie adaptation of this, The Shawshank Redemption, Red is played by Morgan Freeman, and the narration, it's amazing. So that definitely does help Red's case, but I do genuinely like Red as a character in the novella or in the movie adaptation. Stop right there. If you like books and you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel because all I do is talk about books. So if you're interested in that kind of thing and you want more from me, please subscribe to the channel. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers, so please help me get there. The second character that I'm going to talk about today is Judd Crandall from Pet Sematary. So Judd Crandall is the neighbour of the Creed family who move into a new house in Ludlow, Maine. And his most defining feature is his very, very thick Yankee accent. Judd is just such an amazing character, and I really enjoy reading about him. I'm going to reread this book at some point this month because it's a tradition for me to reread Pet Sematary every May, and I'm really looking forward to it, mainly just because of Judd and how amazing he is. He really does make the book what it is, so he's fantastic. So for this video, I really wanted to mention a character from the Institute, but the problem with the Institute is I can't figure out which character I want to talk about. But I think I settled on one, and that's Kalisha Benson. Kalisha Benson is one of the first children that Luke Ellis meets when he's brought into the Institute. And she's just got so much sass. I absolutely love her as a character. Something I really like in the Institute is Stephen King's ability to make you love or hate a character within seconds. I have no idea how he does it. But the first time that Kalisha opened her mouth, oh my god, I knew that she was going to be one of my favourite characters. So even though I've chosen Kalisha for this video, just remember I could have chosen any of them. I could have chosen Luke, I could have chosen Avery, I could have chosen Nikki. Nikki is so funny. But I also really wanted to choose Maureen, because Maureen is just a legend. But the character work in the Institute is just so fantastic. I couldn't not include a character from this book on this list. Okay, so next up, I'm going to mention a character that is probably on everyone's top 10 list for their favourite Stephen King characters, and that is John Coffey from The Green Mile. John Coffey is the definition of a gentle giant. He was wrongly convicted for the rape and murder of 2 little girls, but he is one of the most caring, most loving, most amazing human beings to have ever existed. I really wish that John Coffey was a real person in real life, because he would be absolutely amazing. If a person like John Coffey existed in real life, there would be no evil, there would be no bad people. Flowers would bloom and cats would hug mice. It would just be absolutely amazing in a world where John Coffey existed. But also something about John Coffey is he has the power to heal people. So he's basically Jesus, is what I'm saying here. And it would be kind of great to have someone like him in the world because there would be no illness, there would be no sadness, anything like that. It would just be brilliant. And we all know how sad this book is. I just want John Coffey to be a real person. Is that too much to ask? Next up, we've got a fan favourite. We've got Danny Torrance from The Shining and Doctor Sleep. I think I actually like Dan Torrance a little bit more than Danny Torrance, but I'm going to talk about Danny first. Stephen King loves to include precocious children into his works. He's got them in The Institute, he's got them in Desperation, he's got one in Later, but it all stemmed from The Shining. This was the first instance of Stephen King using a precocious child in his works. Danny Torrance is just this sweet little boy. I think he's only about 5, but he has an ability known as The Shining, which is basically a psychic ability if you somehow don't know what The Shining is and you've been living under a rock. Danny just shines. But where Danny truly shines is when he's now known as Dan in Doctor Sleep. Dan Torrance has followed in the footsteps of his father, Jack Torrance. He has become an alcoholic. He's an absolute mess. So seeing his recovery in Doctor Sleep is just an amazing, amazing thing to see. And I think that this book, even though it wasn't necessarily necessary, we didn't really need a sequel to The Shining at all, but it was fun to catch up with Dan. Also, the dynamic that he has with Abra in this book is just chef's kiss, and I absolutely love it. So Dan Torrance, maybe not Danny Torrance, Dan Torrance, is one of my favourite Stephen King characters. He's just a brilliant protagonist. I've got a mosquito bite on the back of my hand and it really hurts. Okay, so next up, I don't know if you'll agree with me for this one, but this is one of my personal favourites. It's Dolores Claiborne from Dolores Claiborne. This novel is told in first person, so we really get to know Dolores as a character. She's blunt, a little bit mean at times, she gets what she wants and she knows what she wants. I like to think of the golden trio of amazing female Stephen King protagonists as Jessie from Gerald's Game, Dolores from Dolores Claiborne, and Rosie McLendon from Rose Madder. These three protagonists are really good, but right now I'm just going to talk about Dolores. She's just hella feisty. Who wouldn't want that? And you do not, under any circumstances, want to mess with Miss Dolores Claiborne because she will shove you down a well. Okay, so you know how I was just talking about the golden trio of really good female Stephen King protagonists? Well, the next one I'm going to talk about is Rosie McLendon from Rose Madder. We meet Rosie for the first time when she's in a really rough place. She's in an abusive marriage, and when we are first introduced to her, she wakes up and sees a spot of blood on her pillow caused by her abusive husband, and that makes her realise, I'm gonna get the out of here. She takes her husband's credit card and she gets out. She just does a runner, she leaves. And this is amazing. She finally gets to be free from this abusive relationship and we really get to see her shine. We just love to see confident women in books. And Rosie McLendon is no exception. She's just absolutely fantastic. And even during the part of this book where it does get really stupid, she's still so confident and brave and she keeps that up throughout the entire book. And I think that is really commendable and a very endearing quality in a character. I just really like Rosie McLendon. I think that she's a really brilliant protagonist and is a massive f*** you to all of the men out there who are toxic as hell. I'm covered in so many mosquito bites, it hurts so much. Ow. So I've got 3 more that I want to talk about, but I'm going to cheat on all of these because these are more than one character each. So the first group of people that I'm going to talk about is obviously the quartet from the Dark Tower series. All of these characters have something so special about them. Roland, our main character, is brave, he's fierce, he's brilliant. Jake Chambers is lovable and brave. Eddie has a really nice redemption arc and he's just an interesting character to follow. Susanna has a really interesting plot surrounding her to the point where she even gets a book named after her. It's really nice to see Father Callahan again since he appeared in Salem's Lot. And then we've got my favourite, but I didn't want to just include him. We've got Oi. Oi is brilliant. I love Oi so much. I just want to keep him and cuddle him and just cradle him, you know, just look after him. He's just a little Billy Bumbler. He's adorable. We follow the quartet over 7 books and we really do get to connect with them. And if you're going to write a 7-book series with 4,200 pages total, you've got to have interesting characters, and Stephen King absolutely nailed it with the quartet. The next group of characters are actually in completely unrelated books, but they're such similar characters with such similar dynamics that I'm going to group them as one because I love them all equally. And that is Blaze from Blaze, Tom Cullen from The Stand, and I think this next one's my favourite, but I didn't want to just choose this one. It's Wolf from The Talisman. All of those 3 characters are kind of comedically stupid, and it's just so funny and heartwarming and just really light-hearted to see any scenes that these characters are in. I particularly love Wolf just because he's a werewolf, which adds a bit more of an interesting dynamic to the story, but all of them are just really entertaining to watch. Really gotta give credit to Tom Cullen because he was the first example of the comedically stupid character. And Blaze is not talked about enough. Where is the Blaze love? If you've seen my Richard Bachman ranking video, you'll know that I absolutely love Blaze as a book and Blaze as a character. Blaze deserves so much more attention just because Blaze himself is just so funny and he's a really nice character to follow. So I've actually saved my favourite until last, and again, I've cheated, it's multiple characters. But if you're going to include the Losers Club on a top 10 Stephen King characters list, you can't not include them all. I feel like the Losers Club are like their own little quartet, just because they work hand in hand. Obviously, you've got Bill Denborough, who is grieving the loss of his younger brother Georgie. You've got Richie, the funny, immature one that's always cracking jokes. You've got Eddie, the hypochondriac. You've got Ben, the lover boy. You've got Mike, the homeschool kid. You've got Stan, the Jewish one that everyone makes jokes about. And you've got Bev, the only girl in the group. Each of the characters has something so interesting about them, and like I said, they all work hand in hand to create the Losers Club. And as we see later on in the book, when only one of them is missing, they are much weaker, which just proves how necessary they all are to the group and how much they all need each other. And they've got such a strong love for each other. It's just really, really nice to read. One of my favourite things about it is I think that it's not necessarily a horror story. I think it is more of a coming-of-age story and a story about friendship. And Stephen King just aces it. I don't know how he does it. But each of the Losers Club, I love them all equally. I think I identify most with Eddie, but I love them all equally. They're all brilliant, they all bring something unique and special to the table, and they all just thrive off of each other, and I absolutely love this. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this video up here just because my arms are actually on fire from all of these mosquito bites. I need to get some cream on them or something because oh, they're burning. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big fat thumbs up and please consider subscribing for more bookish content from me. All of my social media links are in the description below and I will see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.